Hi, I'm Stacy from Fun Caliber. The 1st of November is World Vegan Day. It kicks off a whole month of veganism, and while I'm not quite ready for a whole month of no meat or cheese, I have been cutting back my meat intake gradually. It's down about 70%, and I managed to cut out red meat completely back in August. For many, a change of diet is for health reasons, or because they believe that the animals we eat are not treated well enough. But there's another reason you might like to consider changing a meal here or there. Climate change. Get this, if just a third of the US population adopted Meatless Mondays faithfully for an entire year, it would be the equivalent of taking 1.6 million cars off the road. That's right, 52 days of no meat for just a third of the US population. Now extend that to the entire population. Again, it's just one day a week of no meat, but it's equivalent to 4.8 million cars off the road. Think of all the clean air. It's true what they say. Every little bit helps. You don't have to stop eating meat or dairy completely to make a difference, just every now and again. Cow, sheep, and poultry farming accounts for 18% of human-produced greenhouse gas emissions worldwide. That's more emissions than ships, planes, trucks, and cars put together. When I interviewed Eva Keynes, an analyst at Aberdeen Standard Investments last year on the Investing on the Go podcast, she told me about the enormous carbon footprint of agriculture.
Yeah, and the other thing that needs to be tackled with agriculture is the amount produced that is wasted. So I think about a third of all food produced is wasted. Again, that was mentioned in the latest IPCC report, and that contributes to about 10% of greenhouse gas emissions globally. I mean, this is the size of the emissions of the whole European Union, and that's huge.
More than that, livestock farming also degrades land and water and contributes to deforestation. 30% of land worldwide is currently used either for livestock farming or to grow grain to feed that livestock. In contrast, a plant-based diet requires only 1/3 of the land needed to support a meat and dairy diet. It's simply not efficient. Carl Stick, manager of Rathbone Income Fund, explained further last year.
I think what's fascinating is when you look at food production, we forget the fact that actually making meat, getting calories out of meat, is very inefficient. You know, we as humans, we eat a lot of calories just to exist, not to build muscle. Same thing with every other animal. So it's about 25 calories have to go into a cow to produce 1 calorie that we can eat. So it's very inefficient. So I think we've got to look at ourselves and say, look, I'm not saying everybody stop eating meat, but we do as a race, we are now eating more and more meat. You know, breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's no longer a luxury. It's what people try and eat sometimes every mealtime. If we're going to eat that much meat, if we've got that many people becoming more affluent and choosing to eat meat, you've got to make decisions around the industrial production of meat. And that is not nice. When you look at how you produce meat on an industrial scale, it is not nice. So I think you have to think about alternative ways of doing things.
As Carl pointed out, the growing population does play a factor. The UN predicts that by 2050, world meat production will have almost doubled as the Western taste for meat, eggs, and dairy products continues to grow. This trend will continue to contribute to global warming, widespread pollution, deforestation, land degradation, water scarcity, and species extinction. More animals mean more crops are needed to feed them. The planet cannot feed both increasing human and farmed animal populations, especially when there will be between 2 to 4 billion more human mouths to feed by 2050. So, how do you invest? The global vegan and vegetarian market is said to be over $50 billion. It's a small amount compared to the global meat market at a staggering $1,000 billion, but the sales of plant-based meat alternatives are set to grow by 20% annually in the coming years. That's a growing investment opportunity too. In fact, Luciana Diana, co-manager of Pictet Global Environmental Opportunities Fund, talked about plant-based foods just last week.
But what is really exciting, and this is really, again, very early stage, is the whole plant-based theme. Because we are able these days to produce meat effectively from proteins, from pea proteins. And that has a fraction of the environmental impact of traditional meat. So the key is to make sure that this new meat, and there's companies that are coming into the market to that investors can invest in. The key is that the taste has to be good enough for consumers to really start to consume them, and at the moment, plant-based alternatives to meat represent maybe 3% of the total in the United States, 3-4%. We think that this over the next 10 years could reach 10-15%. So it's a huge potential opportunity, and with a massive impact, positive impact on the environment.
But as Luciano points out, it's a small and developing market. However, some mainstream names have started to make small shifts. Nestle purchased plant-based food producer Sweet Earth. Unilever has made some of its everyday products vegan-friendly. Even Tesco has a range of plant-based food called Wicked Kitchen. Delivery subscription services such as HelloFresh, a top holding in RWC Continental European Equity, is also an easy and convenient way to change your diet by simply updating your account to only provide meat-free meal choices. On a wider scale, thematic fund Montanaro Better World Fund has 6 core themes, one of which is nutrition. Co-manager Mark Rogers told us more about their focus on technologies in the nutrition space.
So our area of nutrition mainly focuses around companies which have efficient technologies which can be used for food production. One example is Christian Hansen. They're a producer of cultures and dairy enzymes and probiotics. And what they're really trying to do is increase crop yields and to try and develop ways of having less food waste by potentially extending a sell-by date, if you like.
With rising global food and water insecurities, there's never been a better time to adopt a more sustainable way of living. To sum up with a quote from David Attenborough, the truth is the natural world is changing, and we are totally dependent on that world. It provides our food, water, and air. It's the most precious thing we have, and we need to defend it. If you want to learn more about veganism as an investment theme, along with how and where to invest, visit fundcaliber.com and simply search vegan. We have podcasts, videos, and articles on the subject, and don't forget to subscribe for weekly videos and interviews.